story, Pavitra's dimension is unraveling. If we're lucky, we can stop it. We haven't always been lucky. It's what happens when you break the canon. Because I broke it once myself. I found a world where I had a family.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are Minority Treasures. Jay here with my brother Sam.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back.
So today we are taking a look at the Spider-Man 2099 from Mafex, and this one we were really excited about. This was announced maybe over a year ago, and it's finally come out. So we're just taking a crack at it. Hope to give you guys our opinion, what we think. There's been a lot of different opinions about this one, whether or not it's something that you should or you shouldn't pick up. So we're going to give you our take as usual. And as always, we're excited about this one because we collect, these things that we review are things that we actually collect on our own. So
yeah, it's just stuff we like, right?
Yeah. So the box, it's not my favorite. Just right off the bat, it's not my favorite.
Yeah, I don't like the color scheme either.
The color, the orange, not sure where that came from. So if you guys might know, please share that. And but the inside, as usual, with the artwork, love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I was just gonna mention, this is one of those Spider-Man that we kind of saw for the first time in the 90s in the Nintendo 64 Spider-Man game, and to us it was just an extra skin, another costume, and we just thought it was intriguing, very cool looking Spider-Man. But we really didn't know the backstory on this guy, which I think is pretty interesting. And some of the costume, comes from this guy being a Mexican Irish dude in this dystopian future. So just a little bit of backstory on who he is, because we did our own research, right? We didn't really know who he was. Yeah. And I thought it was pretty interesting. A nice origin story that we kind of always ask for in new characters or new iterations of a character. And I thought this one was pretty cool. Yeah. So this guy, is in a dystopian future, 2099. And so he actually is a geneticist. He gets backstabbed bastably after finding out some corrupt things about the company he works for, and tries to go against him. And his coworker basically stabs him in the back. He gets drugged with something, and then he gets genetically altered to become a new Spider-Man. Yeah. But what's different about this Spider-Man, John?
Well, I mean, the suit, for example, is something that he designed, inspired by his heritage, and looking at what the figure looks like. He comes with organic, he has his organic webbing, kind of like Tobey Maguire did. But the figure, there's been a lot of different opinions about whether or not he should have been more bulky. And they definitely did use a mold that we've seen before. The classic one, even maybe the symbiote spider mold looks like this one. Through handling it, there have been improvements. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit later. But I would have preferred maybe if this is not Peter Parker, maybe a different body, kind of like maybe like Nightwing, if he's supposed to be more bulky, because this is Miguel O'Hara. This is not Peter Parker. So that's just my 2 cents on that. But the articulation, if you have a Mafex or Mafex, however you guys say it, you're gonna get what you expect, which is great. Obviously, they do a great job with the articulation, the double ball pegs in the neck and in the base of the head. So you got perfect range there. You see the elbows, the shoulders, they can do the Y pose, no problem. We'll get into the articulation in the capes in a couple minutes. But they, some people are like, it should have been cloth. I don't know that it would have worked out as good as this one.
I don't know. I think it's too small.
And you can make an argument. You can make an argument for both, but I do think that they did a really good job with what they decided to go with. They actually went for it. So,
which is a plastic. It has a ball joint on it. The main web cape that he has on his back has a ball joint, and you can actually move it 360 around, and you can move it up and down. So it is an adjustable cape, so you can pose him in different ways and have the figure come to life and give it that accent of it actually being in motion in action.
Yeah.
So I thought it was actually a good halfway or a compromise between this and actually getting a cape that you can articulate the cape, having it being a wired cape. But if they only would have went with a cloth cape, I think a lot of people would have been underwhelmed anyway. So I don't have any complaints on the cape.
Yeah. And if you guys notice in the light, it does catch the light pretty nice. Here in this pose, it's not the coolest pose, but what we're just trying to show you is that the diaper section, in the hip area, thank you, is a softer plastic, kind of like what Toby was like, which is definitely an improvement.
And a bit thinner, right? So you can get more of the articulation into it.
It is thinner, and the silhouette is better when it comes to like the outline from, moving from the abdominal area down to the legs. It doesn't seem so big. It's more flush. And I think they did a better sculpting work on this particular one versus Toby's. But at the end of the day, as far as poseability and as far as articulation of the character, of the figure, the Spider-Man he's great. He's incredible. I think Mafex does it the best when it comes to a happy medium between articulation and not breaking up the sculpt. Some people or some companies will prioritize one over the other, and I think that they balance it pretty well. Now, kind of getting into the different head sculpts, you'll see that he comes with a more aggressive looking face sculpt, which is my favorite one. He's like
hyper focused on his task at hand.
Yeah, this Spider-Man is a little bit more aggressive looking, and then we have the Miguel O'Hara half-masked one, which I would have preferred a full unmasked head, to be honest with you. I like this one. I think it's cool, showing his fangs, because he does have the venom. But at the same time, I would have preferred, if you're going to give me a Miguel O'Hara head, give me a full one. And this one would have been a cool additional head, plus that one. Here we're kind of looking into the different capes that he comes with, the different back plates. I think they should have just done 2 back plates instead of 3. The one that he comes out of the box with, a lot of people have complained about it getting gappy when you move the neck or you move the shoulders. That is true, 100% true. I did notice that moving it around, and it did get a bit annoying. But the 2 other back plates, the one that comes with these 2 pieces that you see here and the other one with the bigger cape, they fit much better. They have that problem much less, if anything at all, at least in our copy.
Which is interesting, because you'd think the one it comes with would be less gappy, but in this case, it's the other 2 accessories of the black back plates that it is less gappy.
Yeah.
And something to note, as far as the color, these aren't clear web capes. They're actually with a hint of blue in them.
Yeah.
And that was something that my brother pointed out to me, as well as in the webbing, which we'll get a look at later. And I thought that was a pretty cool detail.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of kept with the same sculpt work that they did. These are the 2 pieces that fix into the back of his tricep area. That you just plug that in. I really like that they're flush. So if you guys will notice, it's not gappy. And the good thing is, when you move the bicep, around, it does not scrape the shoulder area. So if that's something that you were concerned with, that was something I was thinking about. I was like, oh man, they're gonna scratch the paint. But no, it does not. And it complements the cape really well. So it makes it like have a complete look. So that's where I think they did a great job with the compromise of not going cloth. They complemented the cape with the back of the the tricep area, and it gives the figure a lot more of a dynamic look, more than regular Spider-Man figures that don't have capes. So if you see that in the images there, and again, like, it catches the light pretty cool. So now we're gonna look at the different hand sculpts, and what do you think about these, bro?
Yeah, so we have our general hand sculpts that accessories that come with our Spider-Man. So you have those open palms, the several different wall crawling. Yeah, thank you. The several I did it again. Wall crawling hands that Spider-Man come with. You have your magnetic hands, your magnetic feet, and your web slinging hand that he's gripping the webbing in. And the Miguel O'Hara, I think that true to the character, kind of like claw
the more aggressive
hands.
Ones.
They're kind of aggressive, and you can see them like, especially in the comic books. It's kind of what his signature swinging in air motion hands.
Yeah.
So you have your karate chop hands and your thumbs up hands as well.
Yeah, these are completely new molds. So these come with the talons that he comes with, and every single hand sculpt that you have will have them. It's kind of difficult to pick up on camera, so we try to do as best as we could, so that you guys are able to appreciate that. But these hand sculpts do come with the talons at the ends and the tips of his fingers. So they give you all the hands that you're probably ever going to need. These are the more relaxed ones. We saw the karate chop ones, as my brother mentioned. The neat thing with these figures is that swapping them out, you can really customize and make him look the way that you would want him to be posing, which is the great piece about this. We don't really talk about the stand, because every Mafex figure comes with one. But as we mentioned in the Toby review, the stands really take it to another level. These are the aggressive ones that my brother was talking about, and they're really cool. They did a really good job, and the talons are they do prick. So I would say if you guys are going to putting on some cloth, just keep an eye out for that, because it will pull on that cloth for you. But these are the wall crawling hands, so he looks pretty cool doing that as well.
And something also, I mean, not in the image, but something that I wanted to point out before was that the paint application, I think they did a really good job. The only little kind of paint problem that I saw in our figure was on the shoulder, but you can barely notice it. So not many QC issues with this one. I like something that they added to the webbing cape is that they actually sculpted out those lines in the webbing cape that you can see in the comic books.
The textured
ones, and even in the Spider-Man Unlimited. Yeah. I don't know if you remember about that one in the 90s.
I always thought that was this guy.
Yeah, right. It was kind of confusing. I thought it was the same
Spider-Man.
Dude. Yeah. Same Spider-Man, and he has the same kind of cape design, capes design, and so it kind of reminds me of that. And something that we learned in our little investigation that we did, trying to get the backstory on him, was that Spider-Man Unlimited, which Marvel Legends did a version
recently
of that Spider-Man, was originally going to be the 2099 show. But when Batman Beyond came out, they decided to do a Spider-Man Unlimited. So I think that's kind of where we came with our confusing.
I always thought he was the same guy.
Yeah, we're Spider-Man fans, but we're very casual in that sense. Like, I don't know every single iteration of Spider-Man, but I just thought I would bring that. I thought it was a pretty cool detail. Yeah,
and the figure, but they did a really incredible job. It's very, very clean. All the reds. The lines are incredibly painted.
There is some shading on the paint.
There's some black shading there. And here we're going to look at some size comparisons. So this is a family photo. This is the Yamaguchi Iron Spider, Scarlet Spider Mafex. Then we have the 99. We got Venom. And we have Carnage. These are the recent reissues that if you guys want, we can talk about those in another video. And Peter's taking that family photo, which was my brother's idea, which was a lot of fun taking pictures. But yeah, so final thoughts on this Spider-Man. I'm glad we purchased it. I'm glad that we picked it up because, Mafex rarely misses. This is one of those occasions that they also hit it out of the park. It's not a perfect figure. I think that if someone loves Mafex, or if you guys love Spider-Man 2099, I don't know if there's a better version of that figure out there from any other company. So this is, a definitive version of the figure for me.
I think Marvel Legends did one as well, but I mean that's a different price point.
Yeah, and it was not. It's a very old figure, so there's plenty of videos showing that sculpt. Anyway, so I would say definitely this would be maybe like a 7.5 for me, or 8. I wish we would have gotten that Miguel O'Hara head, but with what we did get, I was very, very happy. The 7.5 also is because the price of Mafex has gone up in pricing, which, I wish it wasn't the case, but that is the case. So you get definitely some bang for your buck there. So what do you finally think, bro?
Yeah, honestly, I really like what they did. There's no QC issues for me. As far as articulation, paint application, and staying true to the character and to what he looks like in the comics, I like that they gave us those very character true hands that he does, his poses, so you can get him in there. And so I think, in my opinion, he's a definite pickup. I'm gonna go right around there. I'm gonna give him an 8.5 out of 10. I actually really like the design and the engineering in this figure.
Yeah, they crushed that part. So hope you guys enjoyed today's review. Don't forget to like, to comment, subscribe, guys. That really, really helps us out. Those thumbs up makes a big difference for us. And if you guys enjoy our reviews, we'd really appreciate your help with kind of getting these videos to more people. So we will be looking at Charizard next from Blocky.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah,
man.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And we will catch you guys on the next one.